The blackberries are coming, but not from where you'd expect. Peppermint has gone berserk, tomatoes are growing in trees, and the Magnolia, she's putting on her royal show. Stick around, let's walk through the wild and wonderful outer beds of May. Hi, I'm Bowtie Dave. Hey friends, welcome back to Bowtie Life. If you're new here, I'm Bowtie David, and this channel is all about showing you what the garden is really like. The winds, the weeds, the wandering watermelons, and so much more. I'm a longtime Florida gardener, Zone 9B, and I've spent the last few months documenting this space. Not to show you some picture-perfect gardener, but just to show you what happens if you just keep planting, keep learning, and keep showing up. In fact, I still remember when I thought this sandy soil wasn't going to grow much for me, but now we have pomegranates blooming, we have blackberries fruiting, we have all kinds of stuff going on in the garden that just is nothing but exciting. This space has simply taught me more than I could have ever learned from a textbook. Today we're touring the outer beds of May. This is the wild space where Comfrey thrives. Compost gets built, and sometimes tomatoes think they're trees. Now this is part 2 of our monthly garden tours. If you missed part 1, we covered the front and side gardens, and there's a lot blooming up there. And don't miss part 3 coming up soon. We'll be heading into the raised beds where the blackberry harvest is ready to go, along with results from this year's compost experiment. But for now, we begin with the blackberry arch trellis. Now these blackberries are coming along nicely, but they're shaded by the pomegranate trees, so this will be the last section to ripen in our garden. You can see we do have some. Now that's not quite ripe yet, but it's dark. You can see they look green first, then they turn to red, and then they turn to this nice black ripe berry. The big blackberry harvest will actually be coming from the raised beds, so you'll want to be sure to catch part number 3 for that. The pomegranates are lush this year, thicker leaves, more blooms than I've ever seen. Well, you'll notice most of the blooms have fallen off, which is normal. We do have a lot of pomegranate fruits developing up in here. I do think that trimming off the suckers at the base of these trees is really paying off this year. I still have to come in here and break off all these suckers quite frequently, but if I catch them when they're small like this, you can see it just takes a few seconds and it's really easy. Now something new for me this year is these tomato plants that are growing underneath the pomegranate trees. These are Everglades tomatoes and they are an understory plant. Well, last year I had one accidentally grow right here and it started growing up this tree and it did amazing. But now if you'll look, this thing is about 7 feet tall and still growing strong. I don't know that we have any blooms yet, but there's going to be some blooms right there. Can you see that? I'm doing an experiment this year where we are growing Everglades tomatoes up inside our pomegranates to see if we can make this thing go. Interestingly enough, I am not really one stemming this at all. There is only one sucker that's come off of this, and I may just send this up another, well, not anymore, I just broke it. I might send any suckers up another trunk. We've got 2 or 3, we got about 3 trunks with each one of these, and we have plenty of space to grow. Here's another one of these Everglades tomatoes that I'm encouraging to grow up inside the pomegranate trees. So past these pomegranate trees, we come to the back of the blueberry patch. And you can see there's another pomegranate getting ready to develop right there. But the back of this blueberry patch is starting to look good. In fact, you can see, oh, that's a good blueberry right there. It just came off in my hand and it is tasty. Oh, these blueberries are going to be good this year. It's the shadier side, so the fruit ripens a little bit later here. We'll compare it with the sunnier front side next time. Or you can go back and look at the part 1 and you can see right at the end of that where we concluded. Now just behind me, look at that giant southern magnolia tree. This thing is huge. Just past the magnolia tree, this beauty is the Cathedra-loupe, a cantaloupe trellis shaped like a cathedral. Not a single cantaloupe yet, but it sure can grow some weeds. In the meadow area next to it, the comfrey is thick and the Biden's alba are blooming. It is so excited to see so much lush green over in this place because, tell you what, the bees are happy. Now right over here in front of the bee box and near the comfrey plants, I did just notice this Asian Ground Orchid has come up. And I don't remember planting this, but I must have because here it is, and I'm very excited to see this little fella. On the other side of the bee box, I'm keeping an eye out. I might catch some amaranth volunteers back in here. And of course, the elephant ears are doing fantastic. If you missed the bee swarm video from this spot, check the description. It was wild. I'm standing here about 6 feet away from the bee box, and they are just kind of flying around me, not minding at all. And of course, these fig trees are loaded. The leaves are huge. Even the original tree at my friend's house, which these came from, is having a bumper crop this year. And of course, that brings us to the Loquat Hedge. Beautiful, but no fruit this year. I need to trim the suckers back soon too, because if you look down here at the bottom, you can see there's a little bit more than I'm comfortable with, especially down here at the very base of this tree. I don't want all these stems to be down here at the bottom. Now the 2 Meyer Lemon trees in this area, they are strong, though they're a bit small. Time to choose the lead branches. The one bloom didn't make it, but that's okay. Now the watermelons look fantastic. Both the first and even the second planting, which is just about 2 weeks old, already has good strong growth with true leaves coming out. And next to that, the nearby comfrey, still thriving, even after sharing some roots with others. This is the one plant that I've been breaking off to give to people, and it looks happier than anything. And of course, the brown turkey fig tree, which is just past the watermelon patch. I got staked back up after the bee swarm incident, pulled it over. So it's looking good, and it already has figs that are looking fantastic. Just past the brown turkey fig tree, we have got our passion fruits. These are the purple Possum Passion fruit, and I'm very excited because they are both showing brand new growth, great looking leaves, and ready to go. In fact, you'll notice the newer leaves have less and less slug damage. I've been putting in a little bit of slug repellent inside the big pot. Now these things are buried in very big, deep pots so they don't spread to the rest of the garden. This is very important with passion fruit if you don't want them to grow everywhere, and I do not. And so we put one on each side with a big pot right in the middle of this trellis so that it will grow. Now the peppermint in this grow bag. Oh my goodness, it exploded. Here's a video of what it looked like when we planted it just a couple months ago, and look at it now. This is the exact same pot. I have not touched this other than leaving it here in the sun with a bit of irrigation, and it is so happy.
I swear I tried to trim it, but it whispered to me. I think it said, "I am the mint now."
So now we keep the chocolate mint and spearmint separated for safety reasons. And of course the big trunk is still leaning, but it has not shifted. I have a way that I check this every year. It's still exactly the same position as it has been since before we chopped down the tree. The jasmine on it is fading, but is still ever so barely fragrant. You can see here on the left side, these flowers look amazing still, and we still see the bees on here. This trunk should be covered by next year, I hope. We are, of course, still growing our Biden's Alba orchard over here between the trunk and the passion fruit trellis. I'm debating whether I need to go ahead and just take care of that and take it out. The wood pile still needs to be sussed out. And yes, ADD folks, I'll get to it, I promise. And folks, this is the 8x18 bed in the southwest corner of the property. It is finally getting planted. Here you can see me cutting this fabric. This is the Dewitt Sunbelt fabric. You can get it on Amazon. In fact, there's a link in the description below leading directly to our affiliate link to this particular product on Amazon. If you use that link, anything you buy on Amazon for like the next 24 hours, we get a small credit for, and that helps support the channel. So please do use those links whenever you can. But this Dewitt Sunbelt fabric is also UV resistant. So here you can see me cutting the Sunbelt fabric with a torch. I use this matte gas torch, and it does an excellent job of cutting this stuff. If you just use a knife or scissors, it will have a tendency to fray, and I really don't want that to happen. Now, one thing I did discover is that if you put bricks on it to hold it flat and hold it out straight and then cut it, it won't actually curl up all around the holes or around the edges when you cut them. I planted these out on little mounds, and you can see here I placed the fabric to flag my little mounds, and then after I pull off the fabric, I go in here and I make mounds with horse bedding compost, some sand, some other potting soil that I had left over, and my own good compost that I've built. These little mounds right here will be beautifully nutrient rich for these growing pumpkins. I've never grown pumpkins, so I'm very anxious to see how it does. Down here on the southern half of this bed is going to be peaches and cream corn. It's late, but I know, I'm hopeful. And no, the mirrors don't do anything scientific. They're just fun. The lemon trees along the south side of this property may outcompete the pomegranate next to it. And that's okay. If it takes over, I would rather have the lemons. Oh my goodness. I just looked up and looky what I found. How cool is that? A real lemon, folks. A real lemon. My first lemon in years. What a fantastic discovery to get to make on camera. This is so very exciting. This will be our first lemon, and these trees actually look pretty good for where they've come from. You'll notice the thorns. Yes, lemon trees have thorns if they are not grafted, and these were not grafted. These were, I believe, planted by the previous owner from seed. Again, we have 4 more pomegranates over here, and just like the other pomegranates, I am growing tomatoes up in the middle of them, and I'm very excited to see how these do. I'm gonna have to tie some of these up and make sure they get good and supported. There's another one over on that third one down there. Now down below this pomegranate is my original comfrey, and beside it, the treasured rosemary that came with the property. Every cutting I've made started here. And this is not a young tree. I say tree. Look at the base of this thing. These trunks are enormous. This bush has been here a great number of years. It will be a terrible thing to lose, but I have so many propagated plants off of this. We will not be losing this DNA. We will have clones. And of course that brings us down to the pot jungle down here on the southern side of the backyard. You can see the peppermint right here in the front. This was one of the plants that we planted in that video. Again, it is just taking off. And in that large pot right there, we still have aloe plants just overcome by Florida betony. This really should change. I need to take care of all this Florida betony and clear out this aloe so it can thrive a lot better. Now behind this pot we have 2 lemon trees. This one here, which is actually looking pretty good. It looks like it's in a pot, but is not. The bottom of this is cut out, and this tree is literally growing in the ground. There is another stump down here that I am pretty much convinced is not going to make it. There are no lemon shoots coming out of it at all. I'm about to give up hope on this poor thing. Of course, the Dietes Bicolor. It looks rough. It's been in this pot for years, and it needs to be taken out. There were some flower stalks in here, and I can't find them anymore. I think that was one of them right there. It did not flower. Well, not great. We have our umbrella papyrus down here with a volunteer tomato or 2. I do believe we have 2 different volunteer tomato plants down at the bottom here. Let's take a close look in here. Here's one over inside the papyrus over here. There's one right here, and there's one right here, and there's one. This thing is covered with tomatoes, folks. What on earth happened here? I did just grab this soil from the place where I rescued the papyrus. The papyrus is growing strong, and we will have to clean this up next winter. I'm very excited about that. Look at the shape of this, the top of these. They're looking beautiful. This little tomato's already got blooms on it though. How about that? I don't even know what kind of tomato it is. And of course down here we have my very original chocolate mint plant right here. I come through here every once in a while, about once a month when I'm doing a garden tour, and I pull out some of the big leaves out of here. And that's about all I do for this, folks. I am a lazy gardener, and I am proud of it. Above that, we still have 2 loquat tree seedlings, and if anybody wants them that's local, please holler at me. I will be happy to give them away to you. And of course, our 54 rosemary cuttings are finally starting to show their true colors. You can see there's a couple over here that have given up. There's a couple in that far corner that have given up. There's a few that are going to die just because I don't take a lot of care of these, folks. It's really part of the point in me doing this. I want to show you how easy it can be. I do pull the weeds out of here about once a month when I get a video tour and I'm on camera and I'm obligated to pull weeds, but that's about it. These things are going to survive on their own, and a lot of them are going to take off. It's going to be time pretty soon to start potting some of these up. I wonder what the underside looks like. I don't see any roots coming out of that yet, so I'm not going to worry about it. That means there's still plenty of room in there for their roots. They don't have that much roots yet. They're just little things, folks, just little things. And of course the other southern magnolia tree that we have, another large tree, not quite as big as the other, but it makes a great backdrop for the house. It is a beautiful and healthy tree. I'm very pleased with this thing. The blooms are amazing. And of course the palm tree behind it. I'm slowly cutting back branches as I feel like I want to. I am looking at how tall that one branch is right there, the one palm frond. That is enormous. I'm not sure I've ever seen one that tall. That's got to be every bit of, I don't know, 10 feet, certainly 8 feet. Last thing, of course, is our compost bin. Last year's compost is feeding the tomatoes. See part 3 for the results of that experiment that we're doing. And of course, this new bin has kitchen scraps, it has coffee grounds, it has shredded leaves. No cover needed here because the Florida humidity takes care of it. It does not dry out. The irrigation sprinkles the top of this every other day, just kind of on the very edge, so it gets a little bit of moisture. We are tracking the weather this season. It's already helping us understand compost and growth better. And so we've seen peppermint explosions, tomato trees, magnolia blooms, and a pumpkin patch started. This is all very exciting to me. Part 3 is coming real soon, packed with blackberries and compost-fed tomatoes. I'm very excited about that too. Let me know what's growing strong or not in your garden. Use the comments below and ask your questions or share your experiences. I love hearing from y'all. Like, comment, and share this video with a friend on social media or just send them a link through text. That all helps grow the Bowtie Life channel. And remember, your garden doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be yours. Y'all have a blessed day.